And I want to go through like just at least a couple of screenshots. So Sophia, we're going to go through screenshot number 2, where I'm going to ask the crew to bring up screenshot number 2 so we can see that. This is you, Sophia. What do you think?
Such a flattering picture. Ooh, I like the quote, "Don't make me lesser than a man. I sound so sassy." Let's see. Now we have 50% divorce rates and gender confusion. Patriarchy creates families and society. Feminism destroys both. Okay, so let's talk about happiness within families that have more egalitarian marriages. They're more likely to last, and everyone reports to be happier people. So I don't know, feminism seems like it shores up marriage there pretty well. Unless you go back to the early stages of second wave feminism, in which women weren't allowed to have bank accounts. So you're right, patriarchy kind of does shore up the family there, but it's just because it traps women and they can't leave. So technical point, I guess, this dude. I also want to mention the idea of gender confusion. So when I think about my own gender, just using myself as an example, I am a woman, but I am considered in many of my traits incredibly masculine. I'm aggressive, I'm loud, I tend to loll about all over the place. So like manspreading is my thing. I also present as hyperfeminine a lot of the time physically, but then my personality, some people feel, doesn't match that. That was a huge point of tension within the church of who I was allowed to be and who I wasn't. So gender confusion, I felt a lot more when I was part of the church, when I was under a more patriarchal standpoint, because I was being told that I was, by dictate of God, one way, when in actuality, I simply wasn't. I don't have the character that the Bible ascribes to women. So that was a lot of gender confusion for me. And now that I don't have those bounds, I'm able to fully be myself quite a bit more. And I feel less confused gender-wise. I'm sure that this person is referring to what they would view as probably like trans issues. But I think that we can start with talking about gender way before that and just how it doesn't really fit anyone that well. I'm working as a counselor, and I think you see a lot of men who their basic issues come from being told that they're supposed to be a particular way, that they can't be vulnerable, that they can't need help. And when we're able to break out of patriarchy, those men are able to get the help that they need and even rely on other men and talk about issues in their lives with them. I would argue that patriarchy has caused more gender confusion for them because it's telling them to cut off parts of their humanity than being free from it. So that's my rant about that particular one.
No, that's great. I'm glad that generated such a lively response. And I want to say to this person, feminism destroying the family. I mean, why don't you try being committed to a partner who has equal expectations, equal rights in the household as you? I mean, my wife is very much an equal partner and such a great, outstanding mother, a hard worker. She's a nursing student. She works as a nursing assistant. I mean, she works hard she is busting her butt. And honestly, I couldn't feel better. I want to cook dinner, and I couldn't feel better about being in a household, in a family where my wife sets a positive example for what my daughter should be someday, but also how my son should view women. And so I think that I'm very lucky in that respect. I'm going to do one. Go ahead.
I wanted you to do yours, and then I've been wanting to get to screenshot number 8 for some time, for like a few months.
Okay. Right.
But do your thing first. Yeah,
I'm going to do one for me. So I'm going to go to number 1, and I love this one. I love this one because it says, I was talking about here the story of Abraham forcing his wife's slave Hagar to have sex with him and bear his children. And the person in the comments wrote, "This guy accuses Christians of not reading the Bible. He doesn't either, which is why he reads this and says this. He knows nothing." For this screenshot, I literally had the Bible open and read it directly from the Bible. This was the best response I could have to a screenshot. But yeah,
amazing.
Let's move to number 8. Let's go to 8.
Okay, so number 8 says, and I love it so much, "I'm glad she takes this attitude. Can't wait for her to tell her kids that Christmas is canceled because she doesn't believe in an imaginary Sky Daddy." It's when I apparently mocked God by calling him Sky Daddy. Okay, so first of all, the premise of this comment is that my children, who are now in utero and not yet 2 years old, I will introduce them to the concept of Christmas and then take it away as like a lesson, which is a bizarre premise anyway. And then also, do we know why we have Christmas in the middle of winter? It sure as hell isn't because that's when the Christians decided Jesus was born. It's because that's when Yule was, which was a pagan holiday in Europe. And when people were Christianizing the rest of Europe, they were like, well, we can't get rid of all of their holidays. We have to let them have their imaginary Sky Daddy holidays. So we're going to just integrate that and have Christmas be part of that. Do you think Santa Claus was in the Bible? Like, there's so many aspects of Christmas and of the scenario this person has in their head that I find fascinating.
I think they inadvertently admitted that Santa Claus is the real Sky Daddy. Like, that's what I heard from that comment. That's what I heard.
And God just has a naughty or nice list.
At least
Let's
Santa
be real,
gives us
we all
gifts.
know which one I'm on. We all... Yeah, I love that for so many reasons. Yeah, and honestly, like my son right now is also the only grandchild on both sides, so he doesn't need imaginary Sky Daddies. He has grandparents.
Sure.